Hello, I wanted to make another vlog today about how I've been game designing things. If it looks like I'm wearing the same clothes and everything's in roughly the same place, it's because I went downstairs today, made some coffee, made pasta, ate the pasta. It was pretty good. And then I was like, well, my dog's taken care of now, so why not make another one? Because this feels good. But yeah, I can't remember 100% for sure if I mentioned this in like the first 5 seconds of this vlog, but I wanted to talk about how I've been game designing a little bit. So, in my average week for the past, counting today and the week before that, I've been running 2 sessions a week. Each of those are in games I'm designing. Whether they're just like little hacks for Blades in the Dark about wonderful things, or this other one I'm doing about, I didn't talk about this in the last one. So the setting for this other one is something we kind of invented when playing the big game Microscope. If you're not familiar, Microscope is this, it's almost purely like a world building, history building game, and it's really cool. I have complaints about it, which I can get to right now. I like most everything about Microscope, but it includes a vague detail in the book about you have to like contribute on your own, so you can't have other people like hop in with advice, I don't think. And when it's my turn to add something to like the little array of index cards you set out in the game of Microscope, I'd like some help with that. Like because I'm sometimes not very fluid with my contributions, because sometimes I just try to think of something and then nothing comes out, because you know I'm in the trap of wanting to make something good and then that doesn't work. It just slows you down, and that's something I'm trying to overcome as a person who plays games, because usually things, when you're contributing to a game, become good if you just kind of aim for bad, or like aim for unoriginal, because they'll like almost like chemically react with other ideas, and then they'll turn into like, it'll turn into a situation where like people at the table are kind of like hopping up and down in their seats and they're like, oh no, and then they're like, it turns out you and your enemy are long lost twins or whatever. Just kind of interesting things like that. But yeah, these vlogs are going to be rambly. I don't care. Um, Perfectionism is an interesting animal. Um, what was I going to talk about next? Oh yeah, I was going to talk about not just how we developed the setting, but what kind of setting we made, right? So we made this weird setting where basically the gods of this world walk among people, and the way you kind of become a god of this world is you pick up like these masks and put them on your face, and then the mask's personality kind of fuses with yours, and you kind of become like this gestalt person. And these masks have like incredible powers. Like it could give the mask bearer like double or triple long a life. Like in the Last Airbender, the Earthbender that came 2 lifetimes before Aang, I think. Because if I remember right, um, the avatar before Aang was a firebender, and then the one before the firebender was the earthbender. I might be wrong about that because I haven't watched that show in years. I know the avatar who comes after Aang. Anyway, so we kind of create this world of like there are these godlike mask bearers, and now in this game we play one of the acolytes of these mask bearers, and we're on like this caravan journey through a snowstorm that one of the other people with these masks were created because the world before was turning into like the scorched desert. So this mask bearer was like, in order to save the world, I'll have to cool it down. So why don't we have a land of eternal blizzards or something like that? And that was just like this one little tiny part of this microscope game that we did. It was like a little event in the middle, and I was like, you know, it would be interesting to have a game that takes place in just 3 years where there's ice everywhere. And it has been kind of interesting so far because we've gone from making the setting into making the characters, and this just happened maybe yesterday. And I guess I could talk about my character first. So we had like this list that we stole from Vincent Baker's game Sunderland, and the bit of that game called Caravan Guards. So I ended up being a former slave and revenant, along with a master of sword and staff. So I'm kind of doing like the multi-classing thing, and I ended up like kind of being like this dark gray undead figure sort of deal, and I'm like this dude with like a one-handed sword in one hand and like this staff in another. I have a staff on the other side of the room. If I could, I'd use that as a prop, but you know, because I like props, but you know, it's on the other side of the room, so I can't get it right now. And then this other person's like a scout and an outranger and like this like kind of Eastern style scholar where they're like mastering the 6 arts, which are like these things like calligraphy and mathematics and blah blah blah, etc. Very like adjacent to the Greek humanities and whatnot. And then our third person's just like this ritual occultist who was the son of an acolyte of a mask bearer about torture. The Twisted Mask Bearer, I think his name was called. And my character doesn't know how to interact with her because she's got a psychology that it involves being tortured still, and my character feels unbound because she was a former slave and now she got tortured to death and then came back for revenge. So she is like, well, you killed me, but you didn't really kill me, so I guess I have nothing to be afraid of anymore. And she can't feel anything physically, so while there may be no like good feelings of like interacting with people or anything, there's no more torture. She's kind of felt like she's mastered her life or something like that. Yeah, so I'm kind of game designing. That should be a different word. I'm designing that game from scratch, which means We kind of play without a system for a while. We just have like these vague outlines of ideas that we have, and um, they're mostly just things like what questions you ask other people about their characters. And we're making more ideas for other ones, so that's interesting. Because in my experience and in my kind of like how I've been educated to make games, I think that games are just these like at like the center. I'm wondering if I have like a, a ball or like another prop around that I could explain this with. Um, Not really. I guess I could just use my cup again. So like say like you have like this is the center of all game design, right? And the center of all game design is that you're having a conversation, and it usually our conversations are about like characters and settings and stuff like that. In this kind of like center, you don't really have like hit points or the need to roll dice or anything, because you're just kind of talking about like my character doesn't know how to talk to you because she's a slave and you're like this acolyte son of torture or something like that, you know. I messed up nearly every detail on that dude's character, but you know. Um, Sorry, I'm looking at my reflection in the camera. Well, not my reflection, but my um, like my image goes into the camera and then it shows it back to me. There's like a little bit on my screen that's darkness, and it looked like I had something on my lip right here, and I was like, what is going on? Because I couldn't feel it on my face or anything, so that made me incredibly distracted. So yeah, you have like this kind of core of stuff like that, and then you can kind of like branch out of that with by like solving the problems you have just from here. So if the game becomes too easy and um, like somebody just contributes in the freeform RPG ball, that they're like, okay, now we go to the castle. We're at the castle, and we already have the relic. That can be a problem because if your intention from the start of the game is to be like, our characters are acolytes who are trying to find the relic, then shortcutting that makes your game not about finding the relic. Because it would have taken you like 2 minutes to find the relic. And in my opinion, the way you figure out what art is about is sheerly about size or duration or something like that. So like, if you have like a Thomas Kincaid painting, and you have the like a cottage on like this side, and then like a row of blooming bushes and trees on the other side, and then like a river like flowing in between the two, and then the cottage has a mailbox, but the mailbox is tiny and it's almost behind a bush and you can barely see it. Then the painting is about the biggest things in that painting, in my opinion. Because would you not see that painting with the giant cottage and the giant flowering bushes and the river that's taking up a lot of the painting and the sky in the background that's sort of interesting? You couldn't say that the painting is about the mailbox because it's obscured and it's such a tiny part. So the game is all about all the other things that I mentioned, or the painting is about all the other things that I mentioned. And if you're in like a role playing game and you're narrating that painting, yeah, then then those would be the things that would be interesting too. That's my kind of little rant on aboutness. Which could segue into another thing I have to say about it. Because it's becoming a problem in the other game that I'm hacking. So I am having a problem in the game that I'm hacking, Household Renovation of Great and Terrible Power. It's a game about renovating houses in a duplicate reality that's all well lit and fake and very reality show-ish. I'm having a trouble with the aboutness in that game because all we're doing every single session is renovating the houses. And what we're supposed to be doing is, just like putting like a group of clients together that we can try to talk to and try to figure out who's going to give us the most money for it and stuff like that. And then we have to like find good houses that are good to, flip over, and, we're actually like ghost renovators right now. Like we put ghosts in houses instead of like exorcise them and take ghosts out of houses. So we end up creating either houses for ghosts like we're doing right now, or what we did beforehand, which is like this house that is interesting because it has ghosts in it. And we're selling it to human mortal clients. But yeah, all we're doing is actually renovating the houses because it takes so much time to do it that our game is entrenched in it. Because all we're doing is like, well, the carpet in here is on the walls and not on the floor, so let's rip that out. And the walls need cleaning. Well, we're going to have to hire someone else to do that. And we can't get the boiler in for a weird steampunk pizza oven. Or steampunk laundry machine, which has a pizza oven connected to it. If that idea sounds insane to you, it's because it is. It was a wonderful idea. Yeah, so that's becoming a problem. I think I'm going to have to find ways to shortcut that. So I can just, like, trim it down. Yeah. That's all I have to do this week, I think, game design-wise. I have to figure out how we're going to actually tackle the Snowstorm Caravan game. And I have to figure out how to shrink the home renovation part of Household Renovation of Great and Terrible Power. I'm enjoying making these vlogs because it's easy enough to do, so I think I'll keep making more. Maybe I'll make one after this and just upload that later. Like YouTube schedule it to upload tomorrow or something. Alright, okay, I think that's the end of that. So I'm going to see you all later. See you in my next video.